Okay, panel number 2 is next on our agenda. How to navigate sustainable paths to reduce GHG emissions in the agri-food sector. That's the name of our next panel. And it was inspired by a workshop that EIT Food ran not long ago on GHG emissions in the supply chain for corporates. And Ernesto, who'll be moderating the panel, will definitely be able to share some more insights from the workshop during the panel session. So, our esteemed speakers, we already have Petri-Jaan and Lahtvee on the stage. Thank you very much. We just met you in the pitch beforehand. We have Monika Radomska from EcoBean. Is Monika in the room? Coming down from the stairs. So EcoBean is a Polish startup that turns coffee waste into sustainable chemicals. And we really believe this is one of the potential future unicorns in Poland. So Monika, wonderful to have you with us. And Paulina Kaczmarek, Head of Sustainable Development in Danone Group of Companies. Wonderful to have you with us. So Paulina is going to give some insights on the sustainability in the agri-food sector from the perspective of a large food producer. So these are our panelists and moderator, as mentioned, Ernesto Hartikainen, CEO at Biocode. Hi, Ernesto. So Biocode from Finland and offers a platform for calculating the carbon footprint in the agri-food sector. So wonderful. Let our second panel begin.
Thank you for that. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As mentioned, my name is Ernesto Hartikainen. I'm the CEO of Biocode, and it's my great pleasure and honor to moderate this panel discussion today. Perhaps just a short introduction of myself. So, as mentioned, Biocode is a carbon footprint calculator for food brands, producers, and farmers. So we've built a cloud-based solution to manage greenhouse gas emissions across the supply chain. So from individual farmers at field parcel level all the way to corporate scope 1 to 3 emissions, as well as product lifecycle assessments. I've been leading the startup for the 4 last years, but before that I was actually on the other side of the topic we've been discussing today, so on the funding side. I worked for 6 years at the Finnish Innovation Fund Sitra. This is a funding agency under the Parliament of Finland, tasked with thinking about Finland's future as a country, how Finland succeeds. I led their climate solutions focus area. So we're specifically thinking about climate change, what kind of threats, but also what kind of opportunities climate change brings. As we've seen today, a lot of great startups in this field. But yeah, perhaps we'll do a short intro, just who you are and what are you doing here?
Thank you for invitation. My name is Paulina Kaczmarek. I'm head of sustainability in Danone companies in Poland. Danone companies, it's Danone, dairy production and plant-based under the brand Alpro. It's Żywiec, Zdrój water, and Nutricia, which is medical food and baby food. Yes, and in Poland we have got 7 factories, and I am managing sustainability topics, GHG, food waste, packaging, all of the topics, so I will elaborate a bit later on.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was introduced already, so Petri-Lahtvee, co-founder of IO, producing future-shaping fats and oils.
And I'm Monika Radomska, and I'm representing EcoBean. We are a Polish-based startup, it was said. We are a spin-off of Warsaw University of Technology, and we've invented a technology that allows us to fully valorize spent coffee grounds into 5 fractions of chemicals, coffee oil, antioxidants, PLA, lignin and protein additives, and with a low carbon footprint.
Great, thanks. So this panel's topic is reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Why is this important? Well, of course, we are all very much aware of climate change, global warming, our global ambition to keep global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius by the end of the century, or at least meaningfully under 2 degrees Celsius. It has been estimated that a third of global greenhouse gas emissions are tied to the food chain. And from that, 80% come from agriculture, so primary production plays a key role. Now, we've been discussing the role of innovation today. How do you guys see innovation playing a role in reducing greenhouse gas emissions? And we have different perspectives, a corporate perspective, startup / research and startups. So perhaps we'll start with you.
Yes. For companies like Danone, climate change and climate expectations of our consumers, this is a big thing. And currently, carbon emissions are as much important as financials, as money. So, and also, we are very much impacted by climate change. If you look at desertification of some parts of Poland and the impact of this desertification on the milk production, for example, we are really touched, so we need to work on that topic. Talking about us, for Danone, last year we announced very ambitious climate goals in line with science-based target 1.5 degrees, very ambitious, till 2030. We want to reduce our emissions in scope 1 and 2, which is basically factories, by almost 50% in 10 years, which is a lot, because before we did a lot. so it's a big challenge. Then in scope 3, which is forest, land and agriculture, 30% in 10 years. And then in scope 3, but not forest, land and agriculture, more packaging and logistics, around 42%. So the challenge is huge. And I think that collaboration between big companies and partners, innovating partners, this is a key for the success, because currently it's 2024, we cut emissions in general by 24%. We have a plan, we have a roadmap for next 3 years, but then we have a question mark, right? So how we will deliver the other reductions? So here I see a big space for a collaboration between big companies and startups and people and businesses with ideas how to do it in another way, how to do it in industrial scale, how to do it effectively. So we have some ways to do it. I can elaborate a bit.
Sure.
Yes, I can do it now or later.
Yeah, we'll come back to this.
Right,
sure,
yeah.
We'll come back. How about you?
Yeah, I think innovation in food sector is a little bit tricky thing, because food is something dear to us. We are all consuming food every day, and humans, I think, are rather conservative. So changing your food food intake habits, it's difficult. I cannot see actually very rapid change taking place there in this sector. So it has to be, the innovation has to be gradual. And yes, I believe that until now we haven't put too much effort on innovation in the food sector, and now we see it coming more and more. So in Europe especially, we have several challenges here, but we can see steadily this change happening. And I also see that the change is probably more coming from Nordic countries. I hope I don't insult anyone by saying that in Nordic countries we don't have any so much good traditional food, so we are more willing to test with new things, and we see much more opposition from Southern European countries, for example, who have very long traditions with some food products.
How about you, Monika? Tell us a bit more about also your EcoBean and the kind of products you do, and how you can see that reducing greenhouse gas emissions.
Okay, so let's do it on an example. The light is strong, but are there any coffee lovers here? Yeah. Sure there are. I am also a coffee lover. So why do we allow to waste over 70% of coffee potential? 70%. And it's not because we don't drink up, it's because what's left in the spent coffee grounds. And it goes to waste. And in a huge amount, because we generate over 9,000 tons of spent coffee grounds every day, just in Europe. So this is one part. Another part is that we produce and use products on a daily basis. And to produce them, we need raw materials. We need natural-based or fossil-based materials. So let's take natural. We need to cultivate them, we need to harvest them, we need to transport them, we need to process them. All of this generates emissions. And we've got those two, let's call them hands. Spent coffee grounds and need for raw materials. And we can connect it. And we can cut off all of these emissions that are needed to produce those raw materials, because we generate the spent coffee grounds anyway, so they are there. And we can just put them into the products instead of the raw materials that we need to produce the products. So this is the way that innovation can help here.
Great. I'm also thinking about time scales here. I mean, we have set goals, as was mentioned here, science-based targets. So our aim is, of course, we want to become, as a planet, carbon neutral by 2050, all of us, so that our emissions and removals would be in balance, so that we could actually slow down and prevent the worst impacts of climate change. You mentioned some targets at Danone. What are your experiences in finding sort of things that should be scaled up? So what are the best solutions, and where do you see sort of gaps still?
We are focusing, of course, on the factories. Here we source electricity from renewables by power purchasing agreements. Now we are doing a study, how can we make the factory in Bieruń, it's a huge factory, zero net carbon by using our food waste to produce thermal energy. But our main impact, carbon impact, is in agriculture. 50% of the carbon footprint, this is the production of the milk and other ingredients in Danone. So we look for solutions. How can we minimize, how can we reduce greenhouse gas emissions from that part of our value chain? And here, I think that what is interesting is, of course, introducing new models of working with farmers. I mean, introducing regenerative agriculture practices. We currently finished the audits of our 124 farms in Poland. We see that they introduce regenerative agriculture practices, but still there is a huge opportunity, I think, for startups to test, pilot, work with big brands, big companies. How can we reduce emissions at farms? We try to scale up strip till farming method with our farmers. We use some methods of precise farming with a company called Next Farming, as far as I remember, to reduce carbon emission. Last year we announced the commitment of the company to cut methane emissions by 30% in 10 years. And here we collaborate with a special feed additive that could help to inhibit methane emissions from the cows that we have on the farms. So I think that, answering to your question, that the biggest space is in this area of collaboration between big company farms, farmers, and so on and so on. Of course, there are different ways to provide people with protein. That's why we have in our portfolio plant-based products. For example, soy drink carbon footprint is 4 or 5 times lower, and some people choose to consume plant-based products. That's why we promote flexitarian planetary diet. So here also there is a space for collaboration and collaboration for innovation. Let's call it this way.
Yeah. Yeah, today morning we had a workshop where we discussed specifically this issue of supply chain scope 3 emissions, they're called, for those who are not that familiar, but thinking about the company's emissions upstream and downstream from their own activities. So for example, in Danone's case, dairy farms. If I can just continue, what have you seen the most challenging in working with farmers?
Of course, the big challenge is the attitude of farmers. Why should we do it? Why do you want us to do it? And of course, we see the protests in the streets of farmers. Some of them, they don't understand why there is Green New Deal, why we talk about those topics. So for sure, this is a big challenge. And of course, what we do is that it's not like Danone telling farmers you should do it. It's like we invite farmers who already did it, who talk about crops, about energy efficiency, about fuel consumption, and so on and so on. So we rather use those farmers who already went this transition, and I think this is the only way to show the good example and to show that the money stays in your pocket. And the other thing, of course, is the money challenge, because for some transformation you need a capital, you need investing, yes? And for Danone, we can co-finance, we can support this transition, but for many companies, I think it's a challenge, yes? Where we should find the money to finance the transition.
Money is always needed, all right? Startups. Petri-Jaan, what about you? How do you see sort of the scale up of your technology, also thinking about finance, also time scale? So how do you see that we could scale up your kinds of solutions?
Yeah, we are currently working on scaling up our processes, and it's indeed a challenge. For example, our region is lacking the CMOs who can do it for us. So we are looking from Central Europe mainly, where we can test the scaling up and at the same time building our own facilities to do that, because renting these facilities are quite expensive. So if you calculate the price of the product, that is produced in the rented facility, then it's huge. So these are some of the challenges what we are experiencing at the moment. So actually having a stronger biotechnology environment where we already would have CMOs where we can readily upscale our processes, that would make our lives much easier.
Great point. Monika, when are we getting rid of coffee waste or generating new valuable products out of those? What time horizon, and what do you see as your main obstacles for scaling up?
I'm going to be down to the ground. We need money. We cannot rent any facility. We've built a technology. We need our own technology. So we need our own biorefinery. And there are no refineries that we can use currently. So we need to build factories. This is the CapEx. We are currently fundraising for our first biorefinery that we want to build here near Warsaw. And we want to open it next year. and it will be able to, it will have the capacity of turning 1,000 tons of spent coffee grounds yearly, and this is just the start, because in the following years we want to open mega refineries in various European countries, and those will be able to transform up to 70,000 tons of spent coffee grounds every year, and the plan is ambitious. We want to open them in the next 3-4 years. And yes, as I said, to open the biorefineries, we need fundings. Because without that, we cannot sell the products. We cannot produce the products in the amount that allows us to go into the market.
Great. Go ahead.
Yeah, maybe I would like to emphasize exactly the high investment costs or high capex cost for this sector. And this is something that investors are not used to neither, that they have to invest quite a lot in the beginning, and the product will, or the sales and the revenues will come maybe in 2 or 3 years. So having this kind
I think we have the same problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, the capex is like the big problem. Because yeah, everybody wants to invest in something that brings profit, brings ROI near in the future, but the capex needs time. We need to build it, we need to work on it, we need to start selling everything, and we need to scale. Yeah. Well, I think we're gonna move on to the investors, but this is the challenge.
Going back to greenhouse gas emissions reductions, how do you see discussing with potential investors the role of reducing emissions as part of your startup pitch or your story or the way you're raising funding? Do you see that investors are interested in this and sort of give value to this?
Yeah, definitely. When we are talking with the impact-based investors specifically, they are looking into the opportunities where we can reduce CO2 emissions hundreds of megatons or even more per year, and this is also a sector where we are at. So replacing unsustainable fats and oils, and there we can clearly see that how our technology can save carbon emissions in that hundreds of megaton scale.
I think the investors are looking for opportunities, and we don't talk about, we don't use the arguments of the climate change. We show them the benefits of reducing emissions. We show them that this is the potential. They are interested in it, but well, to be honest, the momentum was there some time ago. It was said in the previous panel that we are in a kind of recession right now, and we need to explain the niche. We need to build trust, and we are doing something completely innovative. So they need to understand, and it's not easy. So they need to trust in the innovation that it can work, it can get the results. So there's a long of time of meetings, explanations, and building trust. And even though it's not easy, we've been trying to close up the founding round for a long time right now. And we've got, fortunately, some investors that are with us. We've got some investors that want to be with us in the round, but yet not closed. So this is a long way, up and down.
Even large corporates need to get funding in a different term, of course, than startups. But do you see that from your management team, institutional investors are interested in sort of this climate reporting, what Danone is doing, and green financing, perhaps?
Yes. We are very highly regulated as Danone, right? We are a market stock exchange company, so we need to report all the indicators related to carbon, water, packaging, plastic, and so on and so on. So the public eye is watching us, yes? And on the same time, we have more and more regulations that push us, apart from our internal sustainability strategies, external regulations that push us, big companies, to modify operations, right? And for example, this directive to fight with deforestation that was adopted just recently, and it's coming. I think it's a huge opportunity for you and for other startups to provide food companies with sustainable solutions where, because now if we would like to source palm oil, we need to make sure that this palm oil production is not impacting forests, let's say in Africa or in Amazon area in South America. So I think that more and more regulations can help startups to provide companies with sustainable solutions. The same, the person that was in the previous panel, the marketing manager from Maspex, he said about packaging regulation. This is very important topic for us. The new regulation about packaging, it's called PPWR, which is Packaging and Packaging Waste Regulations, will be adopted this year. And it's, you know, it's the level of expectations towards food companies is going so high. It's about reuse in distribution of beverages in 2030. It's about fully recyclable packs. It's about recycled content in packs. So we, as an industry, we will be looking for innovative, scalable, cost-effective solutions to address our needs, for example, when it comes to packaging. And there are more and more of this. So your question was about financing. So we need, of course, in our strategic plans, we need to plan finance, money to be compliant with legislation and to achieve our goals, to demonstrate to our consumers and clients what we do for people and planet and communities. But of course, the business guys, the management board is looking at P&L and all the time asking, you know, do we really need it? What is the business benefits? So I fully understand hard talks that you have with business people where they want simple solutions in 6 months. I fully understand this.
Yeah, but from corporate perspective, you know that we are working on proof of concepts. You know how it is in implementing solutions. But so even though we don't have the fabric yet, we are just working with the corporations to show them that the solution works, so we can build up for the future. So we don't have to sell it, go to the market and sell it like in e-commerce. So yeah, this is how we do it right now and how we prove that it works.
Maybe something related to this region. First of all, first time in Poland, first time in Warsaw, what a fantastic place. You guys have certainly traveled around. How do you see sort of this landscape of, first of all, both startup innovation field as well as this decarbonization in this region compared to, for example, other regions in Western Europe or so forth? So what are your experiences there?
Most of our partners or clients are outside Estonia, and mainly they are coming from Nordic countries or Western Europe or US or Asia. So today we are mainly working with clients outside Estonia. Same goes with investors. Initially, it was very difficult to explain to local investors what we are doing, why we are doing this. It was much easier to explain it for dedicated investors from deep food tech sectors. Today, I see a change there. There is a lot of funds today which are dedicated to clean tech and biotech So more investors are looking into our technology as well. But we can also see what was mentioned in the previous panel discussion as well, that the local investors maybe don't have the background always to evaluate or the value of the company. But from the other hand, I think it's a good starting point in a way as well, that we have started already a global market in mind, so we don't even consider that we would go to Estonian market. Our market is global, so it has its benefits, I believe, as well.
Okay, from our perspective, we work with big brands, with international companies. They've got the global strategies to implement new solutions. And sometimes we need to knock the door in Poland, and sometimes we need to knock some doors in Europe, in different countries. For example, we did work in Portugal. We did proof of concept. It was easier back then there. But the idea is that what we get from the brands is that they indicate one of the countries that we can do the proof of concept with, and then they think whether they can implement it in other countries. So we don't reach many local Polish-based brands, so we don't see this difficulty that much. But we think European definitely. And sometimes it's better than maybe the awareness is higher. But I think when it comes to big corporations, they already know the ESG, the regulations, the reporting coming up, and they are thinking about the strategies. So they are looking for solutions. Definitely from the time perspective, it's much easier right now than it was 5 years ago, because then we were going from one place to another and saying that we want to get your spent coffee grounds and do something with that. They were looking at us as weirdos. Why do you want to take our waste? It's just a waste. We pay for it. It goes somewhere. I don't know. And right now, they are knocking to our doors saying, okay, we've got those spent coffee grounds, and actually we would like to reduce the emissions from the waste that we have. So can you get it from us? So this is different. This is the optimistic part.
Sure.
Yes, for Danone, when it comes to investing in startups, we do it globally. So we have got Danone Manifesto Ventures entity that is investing in startups at the global scale. We invest now in something like 20 startups. Some of them are in the area of precise fermentation. So how to produce, yogurt without cow in the future. So big question mark, and we know that there are successful companies operating right now. So we are part of it. And in Poland, as head of sustainability, I talk with many startups that could help us in our impact journey. Yes. How can we reduce emissions with farmers in our factory? What about packaging? What about food waste? Here we are open for talks. Last year we did a kind of a startup academy together with Kuzmiński Business Hub. We work with 20 startups, with EcoBean also, talking about how can we advance sustainability goals together. So I see a light there, in this kind of the cooperation.
Great. Perhaps we'll end up with a round of your thoughts on ideal collaboration. So just quickly, how would you like to collaborate with other organizations, whether it's corporate research institutes, other startups, investors? So, I mean, EIT Food is a community. So what are your sort of final remarks on that?
Well, we want to establish partnerships because we believe that we need, for example, corporates. Corporates need us. we are pivotal, we can change fast. They've got mentorship, they've got access, they've got open doors, they've got technology, and they've got money. And we as a startup, we are just 24 people, 25, I think. So we know, I think nobody knows better Spend Coffee Grant than we do. But there are so many areas that we don't know, that we are not specialists in, and therefore we need partnerships. We need partnerships to leverage, to grow, to discover the business, marketing, investors area. So we do not have time and money to build it in-house. Therefore, we need partnerships like agri-food that allows us to open doors, to gain knowledge. We need partnerships like with Danone in the academia, where it was about the B Corp actually, the certification that we could get, and without actually cooperation with Danone, I don't think we would manage to.
And you did it. You sent the questionnaire.
We sent it. No, not yet. It's not approved yet.
But it's ready. But it's almost ready.
Keeps your fingers crossed. And we need those partnerships also when it comes to communication, because we don't have marketing budgets to spread the news about the innovation and that it works, and they can do that. They've got resources to do that. So, and also, when it comes to our investors, we need their support not only on the financial side. We want to have investors that can help us, that will mentorship us, that would help us tell that, okay, the technology works, but you could do it better here, or you could do it another way there. So this is something that we need a lot, because there is no startup that knows everything.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's difficult to add anything to that, the previous answer, so completely can relate to that. Maybe only this, that yeah, we want to work, and we are working together with large corporates, we are working together with startup companies, so all these collaborations are very useful. And the main criteria for us is that both sides would be motivated to do that. That we see that yeah, both sides are motivated and not doing it just because they want to get some tick somewhere. So these collaborations are usually the most useful and fruitful as well.
I know that collaboration with big companies is hard. And now when I'm working Danone, I fully understand why. I can explain at the coffee break. But what I want to say is that the collaborations is only way to go forward. As I said, with climate goals, we have a roadmap till 2027. And then there is a blank page. And we need to put something there. And of course, we can work the way we worked before. But still, the openness for new solutions is big, because we need to deliver the targets. We promised it to our investors, our consumers, our clients. And for me, what is important is in collaboration with such wonderful startups like you two, with fully circular concept and all the positive impacts that you generate, simply to show to business people how to do things differently and to show the way forward. I know that this is not easy for you, for us to collaborate, but still, I think that defining like the business needs and this way of valorization, we can somehow find the ground where we can, sign and say, okay, so we are partners, yes?
I think this is, just to add up to that, this is another important issue in the startup. When we've got the technological startup, like we are from university also, we've got the R&D people, but we need also business people to understand what the R&D is doing and to be able to sell to others that it's worth doing. Because the people from R&D They are focused on what they do, and they are very proud of it. And this is great, but they are not always able to sell it outside, and we need people who can sell it.
All right, I think we'll end with that. Climate change is a huge challenge. Of course, a lot of opportunities and a lot of room for innovation, which are desperately needed. Thank you all.
Thank you.